Welcome to part 2 of Bourbon Real Talk's interview of Damon Pampolina. If you've not already listened to part 1, please stop listening to this episode now and go listen to part 1 first. You won't regret it. Enjoy. This content is being brought to you by the Bourbon Real Talk American Whiskey Aroma Kit. This is a tool that I put together to help all you whiskey aficionados out there develop your palates. You can sit down with the vials and train your senses, or you can sit down with a great dram and break that whiskey down to its components. If you have any interest of purchasing a kit of your own, head on over to bourbonrealtalk.com/shop and pick one up. Thank you for listening. So we got another fan question here. So Lori Webb asks.
Oh, I love Lori Webb. I know Lori.
Have you ever cracked in public in front of a fan? So the background to this is you're extremely gracious, right? So now keep in mind, I go to
Give me another 30 minutes, buddy.
I'm joking.
So,
yes, thank you, sir.
When I go to these events, I am mostly there for my wife. It's not that I'm not entertained, but I'm mostly there for my wife. But I am not like insanely in love with any of the acts, right? So to me, and also personally, I like to treat people like people. I like them to treat me like people, and if they don't, I don't want to be around you, right? So
I agree.
That's kind of how I roll. But what that does allow me to do is sit back and observe what I call the eye of the tiger in the super fans. Because you can look in their eyes and you can tell which ones are not safe, right? They're not safe.
Oh, that's close.
You are in danger, sir.
I said eye of the tiger. I didn't know if it was rather the celebrity or if it was the fan.
No. The fan.
The eyes don't lie.
They got the.
Oh, you're good.
And I don't want to call it crazy eyes, but it's.
Oh, I do.
Like they're crazy eyes. You can tell when they're like, my prey is in striking distance.
It was kind of a glazed,
right?
Kind of wide open, non-blinking.
Right.
That's what we need to look for.
Like like their pupils are trying to take more of it in.
Yes.
Right. I guess it's the best way to describe it. And so I'm sitting there, I'm observing it, right? And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Good, yeah.
Right?
Look at this.
And you are always just like so nice and gracious, right?
You.
And there's all these people that are just like, they just want a piece of you, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever cracked?
What a setup.
Right?
Have I ever cracked? Oh,
because no's a good answer. I suspect it's no.
And if I say no, then a lot of people are going to go, that's shit.
Right.
But I really want to answer it honestly. And that's the whole point, I think, of this podcast is we're getting candid here.
Yeah, it's real talk.
Real talk. And I'm really trying to think, have I ever, there has been times where maybe I've said, some of the epitome of the eye of the tiger fans is when you give an inch, they want 50,000 miles.
Right.
Right. I love my fans, especially nowadays. There is no middleman. There is no record company anymore. It is you and the fans, and you can put your podcast out. You can put anything out on those social media platforms, and they are the ones that are going to make it go.
Right.
So there's a mad love for them, and now 30 years later to see the fan support is awesome.
Right.
So I love them. There's a definite love for the fans. I'm trying to think if I can't say I've snapped and it's gotten, really bad, but I think I have said, hey, can you, or wrap it up, or like,
right.
Hey, sorry, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Gotta go, whatever, I need to tend to my family or whatever.
That's as bad as it's gotten.
Because they'll keep going, that's as bad as it's gotten.
So I'll tell a story. I think this is how I developed my Eye of the Tiger ability is I used to work for a real estate training company, and we had Dave Ramsey come as a speaker. And somehow I used to run a security company, and I got like default, well, you're security. We had like these earpieces, and I was the one that was walking the speakers around in the hotel because, they were well known by the people that were there, and people would come up and want their autograph and talk to them, and they had a place to be. And so it was my job to walk up and run interference so they didn't have to look like an a-hole. And so I'm walking Dave Ramsey, and this one guy had figured out that there was this back hallway that we were taking, and it wasn't restricted to the public, but there was no reason to be back there. There was no bathroom, there were no tables back there, but he figured out that's where the people were coming, so he waited. So when I went to go walk Dave Ramsey out to his car, it's just me, Dave Ramsey, and this guy.
Oh, no.
And he comes walking up, and he had the eye of the tiger. And not like, and it's not just sexual
so
people.
You experienced it firsthand.
Yeah, firsthand. And so I'm sitting there, and what he said to him is, he was like, listen, he's like, you don't understand. I'm in town. You and I have to get a cup of coffee.
Right.
And Dave Ramsey, being gracious, said, with my schedule, that would take a miracle.
Right.
And he,
Nice response.
without skipping a beat, said, we both believe in Jesus and we both believe in miracles. Let's make this happen. Right? And so I'm literally thinking, is this guy gonna whip out a gun if he doesn't get it? Like,
Right.
he looked that crazy.
Right.
And I was like, hey, Mr. Ramsey has to go. And I'm worried because we barely got him to come speak at our event. And I want to make it as positive for him as possible and get him out there. And all the way to his car, people are coming up like, some dude slides up in a pickup truck. Can I get a,
Yeah.
And Dave Ramsey actually said, just let him be.
Right.
Because I was the one that was like, hey, Mr. Ramsey has to go. And he was like, look, just let them be. This means something to them. Just that.
Right.
And so he was more like you in that. But then I've seen celebrities that, and some people that maybe didn't really earn their celebrity, maybe reality TV stars, like act really ugly to fans.
Yeah.
And I
guess
guess
it's great.
I guess I can see both parts of it. I remember one of the guys from Jersey Shore with the hair.
Yeah.
He had some girl.
With the hair, they all had the hair.
Well, I don't know.
No, I know. Maybe Pauly
Pauly
D.
D.
Pauly D with the blowout.
I didn't watch it, but anyway, a girl. I don't watch it. It's garbage television. And a girl
to
tried to
kick
touch
in.
his hair, and he kicked her out.
Oh,
right? And
God.
he's like, you don't touch my hair. And I remember thinking, like,
Lighten up.
who do you think you are? Like,
Lighten up.
like you pee on floors in clubs and got famous for it. Like, why are you, acting like that? But I kind of can see both sides of it because I have had the opportunity to meet people who have fans, and I have seen, what it's like being around a group of fans, and every one of them wants equal time, and all of them want more time than you have to offer. And so, but I applaud you, sir.
Yeah, well, thank you. There's a thin line. I was just talking about this the other day about an athlete that there was, and I can't think of his name, and I actually posted about it on my social media. A little boy was there, and there wasn't a lot of people. It was a little boy, he had a football and a jersey, and an athlete walked by, and me not knowing his name kind of solidifies who he is, obviously, that,
Right.
And he didn't sign the football or the jersey. And he kept walking, and the little boy's just standing there, And for me, the way I'm built, how I was raised, where I came from, my background and my experience within entertainment,
Right.
I was irate. I was irate. Anybody that saw the post, I kind of did it in the heat of the moment. But anyway, nevertheless, I posted about the athlete that did that, and here was my take on it. And this segues into what we were talking about, because I really feel that, like, you don't really have a choice. The celebrity and your fans are part of the package, whether you want it there or not.
Right.
Which, if you don't want it there, you're an idiot. You're in the wrong business. Anyway.
Sure.
Okay. So you get paid an immense amount of money to be that performer, that athlete. So what comes along with that responsibility is your followers and your supporters. And though you perform on stage, when you get off of that stage, you're still going.
Right.
Those fans are there. They make you. They help you. They support you. They buy your product. So whether you want to or not, your responsibility is there to be cool, to maybe sign that football, especially when it's just one. That was that scenario.
Right.
But it just drove me crazy. I'm like, I just didn't understand that. Now, another thing is, you can be a douche all you want. That's your choice. You can be Pauly D, but what do you want for your brand? Do you want to be Michael Jordan, or do you want to be Antonio Brown? You know what I mean? Like, that's your call. Do you want to be, I don't know, David Guerrero? Do you want to be Pauly D? Like, I love you, Pauly. I'm sorry, man, but I'm just using an example.
I'm not. I think you're a douchebag.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, more things have been touched than my hair, and we certainly didn't kick anybody out. You know what I'm saying? We've been groped and grabbed and stuff like that. So I just think it's part of the package, and if you don't like that, then get out of that damn business. You're in the wrong industry, because that's all part of it. Anyway, I could go on and on and on.
No, I understand. We have another fan question.
Hit me.
All right. Robin Johnson asks, Hey, Robin. What is the most impactful thing a fan has done or said to you?
Great. I posted this before the MMC 30. I still have boxes of fan mail. We kept it. The Mickey Mouse Club received it. They would filter it, and they would give it to us. And I know I've got a good 85, maybe 90% of all the stuff from all the seasons.
Really? Okay.
And I still have it in my possession. So not that I go and browse through it on the regular, but before the MMC 30, I went up and took a picture of all of it and started looking at some of it. And the concept that somebody would take the time to write or send something in was awesome. You know, just awesome, and sharing their compassion for what you did, and they were supportive of what you did. That was awesome. But the MMC 30, we're at Megacon, and this is towards the end of the line of the autograph signing. And a young lady, I don't know, I just kind of felt compelled without her asking. I gave her a hug, and as I'm hugging her, she starts crying, and then I'm like, but it's a different cry,
right?
Not a fandom cry. And I'm going, wait, what is going on? And she goes, I just have to tell you that, you know, I lost my brother in like 86, 87. The show started debuting in 89, and it helped me through my darkest time. And now I started crying.
Of course you did. I'm gonna start crying.
Hugging her. I start tearing up, and she goes, your smile every day just helped me get through that time when I lost my brother. Now, here's what's beautiful about that story. It was 30 years later. I didn't know the impact that we had on them as kids at 15,
right.
14. I'm just doing my thing, dancing and having fun. We would get the fan mail, but you know, you didn't get the solidification of what you're doing 30 years later.
Right.
Now. I get to meet her in person. We're hugging. We tear up. She's sharing the story with me, and it's like, and of course now being older, I have a son. I'm more mature. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was so much more impact to that story. And it just came to mind. I mean, listen, we've got some great stuff from fans, and the stories are endless. But this one sticks out because that was just last May.
Right,
you know?
right.
But the twist of that is, so many years later, I go, wow, I had no idea what we were doing as kids on that level.
Well, and for those that haven't watched the show, and I didn't watch a ton of it, I mean, there were...
God bless your wife.
Y'all, I mean, during the show, you did deal with serious life issues that people of that age would be dealing with. And that's one of the things that I've learned as, you know, I'm 42 now, is that you never know the impact that you're having on the people that are around you. And there have been things that people have done in my life that were seemingly insignificant to them that meant everything to me.
You. Yeah.
And I have had a few instances where, not because of the podcast, because I'm not famous and I don't have fans, but I have had people come up to me and say, you know, when you said this or you did this or, you know, whatever, that it, you know, it helped them through a difficult time, or it encouraged them to do something that they were afraid to do or whatever. And every single person that's listening to this, you play that role in someone's life, and you may not ever hear about it. That's right. But that's the encouragement that you need to go out there and put your best foot forward every time you interact with anyone, because you don't know what impact you're having.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And to hear that story 30 years later was just awesome. It was one of the highlights of the reunion. God bless that fan. I wish I remembered her name.
Well,
but
she's going to watch this.
Yeah.
And comment below that you were the fan from MMC 30 that
she
cried
knows
with
exactly
Damon.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you all connected up.
Yeah.
So at some point, everything kind of wrapped up with the party. Was it a difficult decision to leave life as a recording artist for you?
Yeah.
Did you hope to do like your own project after you left, or?
Yeah, yes. I'd love to touch on this. Yeah. So left the group, 16, 17 at the time, maybe 17, and then came back. My thing was, as I was kind of burnt out from the road and touring and everything that brought on, and I said I just want to go back home and kind of be normal, right? So came back home, finished my senior year of high school, which was awesome. That had its own great, moments within itself.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So you're like a TV celebrity, and you come back home and go to public school for your senior year? I'm not even going to ask any questions about that, because I know what happened. That is insane. Your parents didn't say absolutely not.
Brain warp. And there's
Did you just kick the doors in and be like, I'm here?
I'm back, bitches. No, not at all. And what was beautiful is a lot of my same castmates. I left my November year of 7th grade, right? And it was a lot of the same classmates from my senior year. I went back to the same school. They were awesome, treated me, like picked up the pieces.
Right.
Not abnormal. They weren't weird. Very, very cool. Very respectable. And I did everything from spring break to powder puff to like I wanted to prom, homecoming. We did it all. And it was great. It was awesome. I didn't feel the backlash, though, to keep it real, until probably mid-20s, 23, 24 in LA, of that decision at 16. You know, like I went to high school, went to New York, was pursuing my career from New York, went to LA, like was out in LA, kind of getting my career going, did a few things, but then all of a sudden it started tapering off. And then it was like the realization of, wait a minute, the backlash of maybe that decision and like, wow, what could have been. And then now the Britneys and Justins and Saints
right.
and all this stuff that surfaces.
And you're like, I missed it by that much.
You're seeing these mega careers and you're going, dude, I was on that same path. And not comparing, but again, let's just say, not many people can say Mickey Mouse Club, pop group, solo career, whereas some of these mega careers are coming and you're going, oh my God, my path was on the same direction.
Right.
But again, we didn't have those careers to mentor from.
That's what you meant when you said that earlier.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't know. But so then at 23, 24, and I'm in LA struggling to a certain degree. We're not really landing these sitcoms and stuff, and we're getting close, and we're getting callbacks, and we're screen testing, but nothing's coming through. You couldn't help but to start going, wait a minute, what the hell? Maybe if I just would have stuck in another 2 years, 3 years, became a household name, then could have had more clout to then segue into the film career that I wanted. So when I left the group, the ultimate goal was to pursue my acting career and do film, So I'm keeping it very real with y'all. We're getting very, very real. And the Jesus juice may have something to do with it.
Yeah, the brown water brings out the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is the truth, and there's no need to hold that back. And so the backlash of quitting the group, but I'll give you the flip side of that, if you want to keep it real. I'm not Corey Haim or Heath Ledger either.
Right.
So we don't know. So we could easily say, oh my God, you could have been Bruno Mars. But we have to look at the other side of that coin and say, you could also be Heath Ledger too.
Right, sure.
Because young fame and wealth is a very
difficult,
dangerous thing.
Difficult.
I'm a wild spirit. Landscape. I'm a wild personality. I had a lot of energy. And it could have been dangerous at a very young age. I don't know. I'd like to think that we would have kept it on a track and had a longevity of career, like a whoever. I don't want to compare. But then at the same time, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah.
And so you were pursuing a film career for a period of time. At what point did you move back to Houston?
Yeah, great question. So about 8 years in LA, and after getting the absolute shit beat out of me in that city with that industry, about 28, I decided to take a break, and I had to leave Los Angeles and take a break from the business, just everything, and come back home and recollect. And that's another thing too, is that we're all kind of a product of our environment, and I'm a Texas boy, man. I'm Southern, and I love a lot of the qualities that Texas and the South possess. And they have influenced me, and I wasn't getting that out there on the West Coast. I wasn't getting that in that business and in that city. And I love you, LA, I love you. But we know what that town is based on, and what everybody's trying to achieve out there.
Yeah.
It'll chew you up. And I did not really have any family out there, and not a strong support system. Some really close friends, Chase Hampton, my brother, Donnie Jeffcoat, who had a background in the young child entertainment industry, and he was out there. He was my brother. But at the end of the day, you're like, dude, I got to get something stable.
Right.
Some blood. So I came back home.
Yeah.
To answer your question. And somebody told me once, they were helping me with the decision. I was hell-bent on not leaving LA until something broke, and they said, LA's not going anywhere. Take a break, take a little sabbatical, and if you want to come back, you'll come back. Yeah. So.
And so when you came back here, what did you start working on?
We came back, and God bless my father, he had started up an entertainment career in the late 80s. When I started doing the Mickey Mouse Club, his love was DJing. His passion was DJing and doing private events and corporate events. And I had been around it my whole life. So when I came back, it was a no-brainer to try to get involved in the family business. Yeah. And that's what we're doing now.
And you've been doing that ever since?
With a few things in between, a little real estate, dabbling, and some investing and stuff. But for the most part, yeah. I'm just trying to keep it short for you because
No, that's fine. No, I mean, as long as people know where the path is, that's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, for the most part, was out in Southern Florida for a little bit in Miami. Met my beautiful wife, convinced her to leave South Beach to come to Houston, and so now I got her and came back, and then since then we've been here and now helping out with the family business. And that has taken on a career of itself that has been awesome.
All right, so I am always super curious about this. When somebody who has a certain level of acknowledgement in the entertainment industry and they find a wife, how long have you been married now?
10, and together for 15.
Yeah, so 10 years, been together for 15. So, you know, it's difficult to have a stable relationship when you don't have fans, right? And it's difficult to find somebody that you're compatible with when you don't have fans. How did you and your wife come together? Was she a fan? Did she know who you were?
Great question.
Like, did she approach you because she knew who you were?
Right.
If she didn't know who you were, when did she figure it out, and did that influence y'all's relationship? Like, how'd that go?
Yeah, and she was supposed to be here today, which I would have totally pulled her into this segment of your podcast.
I have enough space. We can have 4. We could put my wife in. We could put her in. It would have been great.
She's taking care of.
No, my wife will not go on camera. No.
Come on.
No. Yeah. She won't even talk.
Spawn all this.
Yeah.
This is technically from you.
She won't even talk loud enough to be picked up on the mic. You might get a laugh. Anyway,
hilarious.
Go ahead.
So, the beautiful wife is taking care of little man right now at home, and since we're in a bar, it could have been tough to pull them both in.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason she's not here. But the original plan was that she was here with you guys today while we did this. And this is one of our favorite spots. So in Miami, running around, had just became single at 30 years old at the time. And my friends, of course, knew of my background. And we were going out and having fun, and every now and then not my thing,
right?
They would say something, or they would say, "Hey, blah," you know, and some people would believe, and some wouldn't. And the long story short is that when I started talking to her, which by the way, it took about 3 months to finally, I was chasing her around Miami.
How?
Why?
You would just see her out?
I would see her out.
Okay.
We had a mutual friend, and I was highly interested. And to answer your question, she did not know of my past and did not know about.
So you're just a random dude spitting game.
Yes, but
But you're more handsome than most, so I'm surprised it took 3 months.
Well,
plus you got mad game.
Me and you both. But there is a twist to it. It kind of does a 180. But at first, yeah, she's kind of blowing me off. I'll be totally honest with you. It took about 3 months to get to finally get her attention. So there's some twists in there, and you'll love the end story. So her roommate at the time, internet just becomes fresh, and says, listen, I do a background check on all the guys that I'm dating and I go out with. They could be psychopaths, they could have a criminal record, check it out. So we're about 2 months in, and she does a Google search, and it starts to come up. And she's going,
what
the hell is all this? So she texts me, humbled or embarrassed. And I have no idea what she's talking about.
Okay.
And I text back, is this a game? I don't know what we're doing. Humble? And she
You're
goes,
like, I want to be known as humble.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to go with humble. So she goes, why didn't you say anything? And I'm like, what am I going to say? I don't say that. It's not my thing, whatever. And she goes, oh my God, I see all this stuff. And, and she's like, you make so much sense now. Because 30-year-old in Miami single, I was
right,
guns blazing.
Right, sure.
Was pretty out of control. So now that stuff started making sense to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then we start to talk and getting close and all that good stuff. And she had a great immense amount of patience and understanding for my position, and an artist herself. So that we're cut from the same cloth, and I think that helps immensely. And she's extremely confident. So all those ingredients come in with, she just is able to take it with a grain of salt, and she just does very well. As a matter of fact, she is extremely supportive to pursue certain avenues, to pursue my career, to do things, to put stuff out on social media, whereas I've kind of like fallen into my mode, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She's the one that loves to spark it, so she loves it. And she's like, you need to do, and this is what you need to do, and da-da-da. So with that being said, it's a great, compatibility, which you gotta have. If you're gonna be in the business, you gotta have somebody that loves it, understands it, and supports it, or you are in deep trouble.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the issues that I know you deal with if you do have, fans, and it's always, like I said, it's always fascinating to me. Is like, well, the other thing is that the Eye of the Tiger fans are like, how did she win? Right? Like, I want to know what's the formula? How did she win? And just so you know, Eye of the Tiger fans, rule number 1 is you gotta not know who the guy is, because every guy I've ever asked this question to, the girl didn't know that he had fans or was famous at all when they first met. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
I have to also apologize to everyone out there. The lighting just got terrible because the sun just decided
to come through.
But
we're glowing now.
We're glowing. Yeah.
But what was beautiful was this. What was great too about the MMC 30 was, even though me and my wife had been together for roughly a good 15 years when that came, she had not been in that environment to see that yet or witness that at that level. A bunch of, in a condensed space where you have 2,000 fans. She had seen it online, she's experienced it a little bit, but that was her first taste of it. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, everybody was cool, gave her love, befriended her on social media, took pictures with her, took pictures with my son. That's the thing about the fans that you're like, dude, you gotta love that. I love that compatibility. I love that dynamic and that relationship. And for the most part, they were very respectful.
Right. I'm going to tell you something that's hilarious, and I hope your wife listens to this. No, it's not bad. It's that, because when I'm doing an interview, I have to Google the person.
Right.
And
do their background.
Right. And do their background and check and make sure I don't say anything that's stupid or ask a question that has been covered 1,000,000 times or whatever.
Right.
And so if you go on Google and you type Damon Pampolina, you know how Google suggests things? Mm-hmm. One of the number 1 suggestions is Damon Pampolina's wife. Because...
No, elaborate. You mean...
No, because what it is, and because Google will show you what are the most common searches.
Oh, Damon
right?
Pampolina's wife.
Right.
Who is it?
Right, who is it? And so all of your Eye of the Tiger fans are like, who is this that snagged my man? I want to see what she looks like. And there's been so many that searched you.
That's the first.
That's like 1 or 2 when you type in Damon Pampolina's.
That is awesome.
And I
did not know
I
that.
was typing in Damon Pampolina's entertainment company. I was trying to find information about your entertainment company.
That was no go.
And I was like, wife? And I was like, oh, Eye of the Tiger fans. Okay, now I get it.
I love it.
And so that's how loved your husband is.
Yeah. God bless her. Her patience is off the charts for a lot of things, not just the Eye of the Tiger fans.
I can imagine you're a handful.
But
you got a lot of energy.
Listen, when we first met, all the friends of hers were going, no, not the guy that dances on the bar with the water gun and does flash dance, pulls out wigs up in his backpack, has a midget fetish. Not that guy. She's like, yeah, there's something about him. What was beautiful was the timing. The timing, though, because we were already really connecting on a great level. We had found compatibility before she found out about the past. And, that's the thing. It's like, I listen, whatever, but I loved, for me personally, that she didn't know. I kind of loved the way that panned out. I love that she didn't know. I love that it came out after the fact. And she is just taking it all so well. And again, at MMC 30, it was the first time she really got to experience it on that level, man, and it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun.
How many fans were there?
We had a good 2,000 at Megacon.
Yeah.
On the panel with the one and only Joey
I directed
Fatone.
them all. So
you were helping?
No. So it was hilarious. So there was the panel,
yeah,
right, and then there was the signing.
Yes.
And there were different levels of access.
Yes.
And the highest level had already had their signing opportunity.
How are you getting in here as security? Your natural security.
It was just like, I like things. I just like things to work normally, right? And so
what a concept.
And so my wife is like, look, I want to get in. I want to get out. I want you to be number 1 in line. And so I leave the panel early. And I'm searching to try and find where the line is. And I find these two people standing there, and they have no clue what's going on.
Right.
They have different signs. They don't even know what the signs mean. This is not a joke.
This is awesome.
And I'm like, what is this? And they're like, well, this is the line for the signing. And I was like, well, what do the two signs mean? And they're like, I don't know. I finally figured it out. And what it was is that there was, I think there were like 3 different levels, right? And then there was Megacon people that were there, and they were able to go in and get signatures as well.
Correct.
But they had to go after the people that had paid for access.
Correct. Right.
Right. And so there's 3 different levels of badges, and then there's non-badge people. And the top level can't get in the line because they've already had their chance. They can get in the Megacon line, but they can't get in the regular line. I got to figure all this stuff out on my own.
Right.
And so I'm number 1 in line. And so people start piling out, and some of them are leaving early because they want to get in the line early.
Right.
And I just start telling them, okay, I'm looking at their badge, and I'm like, okay, you had your time already, so you can go over there, and then but you can get in this line. So then when they release, everyone walks out, and I mean it's a madhouse. 2,000 people come rocking out of this room, and they're all trying to get in the line.
Right.
This is what they're all there for. They all want to meet the celebrity and get their signature. Right. And so the 2 people that have the signs, they start like, follow me. And then like, it's absolute chaos, right? Because there were lines that were forming, but now the line is moving.
Right.
And there's people that are coming out. Now keep in mind, there's people in dragon costumes.
Oh, yes, sir, because
it's Megacon. It's Megacon. So like,
we got everybody there.
Like, yeah, I mean, like video game characters that you've never even seen before.
Correct.
Like there's people all over the place, and no one knows what's going on. Yeah. And there is no staff to tell the people what line means what, where to stand. And I'm like, I don't care if I meet all the celebrities. My wife's the number 1 in line, and she's happy as a lark. I'm going to help the people. So I'm walking through, and I don't remember the names of the badges, but it's let's pretend it's like platinum, gold, and silver.
Right.
And I'm like, gold and silver over here.
Wait,
you're badge over here. No. All night long, because then that night we went to the
well, you're kind of a
Magic
part of it
Kingdom.
at this point, though,
right?
You're kind of a part of us
I went
at
to
this point.
And people are coming up to me and asking me questions, and I'm like, I don't freaking know. And they're like, you don't work here? And I'm just like, no, it's just like no one knew where to go, so I just helped. Like no one asked me, but no one could stop me either. So I just did it, right?
Nobody asked, but nobody told me no.
No one told me no.
And that crowd needed some
It
love.
wasn't even that no one told me no. It was just like there wasn't anyone big enough to stop me, basically. Yeah. I just want things to work right. But what was funny is like while I'm doing it, some dude comes up to me dressed as Merlin, and he's like, where's the bathroom? And I'm like, I don't work here. And that, like, none of this is made up.
Listen, Merlin is just one of the 1,000 characters that was there, friends. You know, Megacon had a lot going on.
I saw a lot of furries, and they're like, I'm not a furry, I'm dressed as a character.
Yeah.
And they would get mad at the other people.
You're like, but the character is furry.
Yeah.
So you are kind of
So
a
you're
furry.
kind of a furry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
furry.
It's like a weird thing. Okay, so we got to wrap it up. I think the bar told us we outwore our welcome or something.
Okay.
No? What'd they say?
The rep for the whiskey you're drinking is here.
Oh, I want to meet them.
It doesn't get any better than.
Yeah.
God bless this place.
I need to meet them. Oh, no one can see us now.
Hey, wait, by the way.
Hold on.
Wait, I'll get my hat. Let me get my hat. My hat will do that. There it is.
There it is.
Okay, hang on, let me stay right
Hold
there.
on.
So this is what I wanted you guys to know.
Yeah.
They moved the date for the
shit.
MMC 30 to May 18th because of my schedule. I'm going to take credit for this one. Well, Megacon was in town on May 18th, okay? So at first, Megacon contacts the people for the MMC and they go, are you nuts? You're going to try to come into town at the same time that we're doing this thing? You're crazy trying to do it at the same time. Then they say, well, wait a minute. Why don't we join forces? So the date got picked, yours truly. We end up at Megacon and we're the little engine that could. 2,000 people ended up showing up for our panel, which they weren't expecting that, the Megacon folks. So everybody that was there, we love you. Thanks for the support. It was incredible, and we literally were like the little engine that could, that got on board. And we were not Merlin, the furries, the woodchucks, or the aardvarks, whoever else was there. But It was an amazing.
It was
turnout.
amazing.
It was
So we're
amazing.
going to wrap this up quick, but he's like, I want to see how long he can squat like this.
Oh my God!
His quads are going to be terrible.
Holy shit!
All right, so
This squat and whiskey and not a
now
good
you have
combo.
you have an entertainment company.
Yes, sir.
If people want information about that, where do they get it?
One of the places you can go is prpentertainment.com, which is the website for the company. And then always hit me up on Facebook, Damon P. Pampolina. Obviously, they're on private message in the DM, baby.
In the DM. And what type of thing do you do so people know?
I love the title MC Host. So we MC and host for private events and corporate events. We have a team of dancers, and we've done some amazing events. We've teamed up with Pitbull recently and opened up for him, Keith Urban and Aerosmith, just to name a few. So big corporate events to 20 people in your house. You want to rock? Reach out for us, and we'll come in, and we're good at that.
I do want to rock.
We're good at partying.
All right, Tony's coming to my house. We may need to coordinate something.
I'll be there.
All right, so if you want more information about Bourbon Real Talk, you can get that at bourbonrealtalk.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram /Bourbon Real Talk. And you can search for us on your favorite podcast player. And if you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that I love you.
I love you too.
And I'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk.
Check this man out.
Cheers.